Mic check 1, 2, 3.
Mic check 1, 2, 3.
Give us a thumbs up if we got audio. Here we go. Ready to go?
Let's do it.
Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Sunday edition of the Recap Show. We know you love it when we do it on Friday nights after the game. You get the emotion from myself and Mr. Swallow. You get all the thrills of what happened on the Friday night. But this Friday night was one for the books, my friend.
You're right.
Never have I seen it before. When we get to this point of the season, semi-final action, 16 tickets would be punched, but we had some games that were moved to Saturday. I'm not sure if it's ever been done at this time of the year, but it was a crazy deal going on when we were packing up and we seen, hey, they got 3 games moved to Saturday. We said, well, bonus football for us. We ain't doing a recap show until Sunday because we got to let some of these games get finished. And Gary, the 16 tickets have been punched. You had 13 of them punched on Friday night.
Right.
A lot of teams played late into the night. Some teams wrapping up at midnight, but they got them in. Had some bad weather pushed through.
Right.
And then 3 more tickets were punched on Saturday, so the field is set. The road to the Dome has officially hit the final week, and we are ready for next week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, loaded 8 state championship games. Getting kicked off on Thursday, wrapping up on Saturday night. My, oh my, we got some locals and we're well represented in the Dome this year. And I'm starting to think, Mr. Swallow, this year's state championship games might be a little bit better than last year's because these are some big time football games.
Right, but what I like about it, Jordy, is we got some new blood in there.
Yes,
we got some new blood that's going to be in the Dome. We always like underdogs. We always like new people in there, and this year is going to be a lot of new people. We're going to talk about where they're from and everything like that, and some shocking things as well as some exciting things that happen. Especially for our local little area.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about that, and I'm excited. I can't wait to discuss our locals.
Absolutely. The hotels are booked. We just got to gas up the vehicles and get ready to hit the road to New Orleans next week. And when we get there, we should be in for an absolute treat. 8 state championship games across 3 days. Get to see a lot of familiar faces at the Dome. We always run into some faces that we have not seen in a while. They always come up very friendly around the state of Louisiana, and we all come back to one place to wrap up an incredible 2023 season. And I can't wait to see what's in store this year. We had fireworks last year, and I think this year we're going to do something a little bit different, right?
Oh, I think so too.
I think Thursday morning when we get on up there, we might do a special show before we go into the Dome.
Yeah.
And then I think after every single game, we might put
just do a little recap.
We might do a little recap from the bleachers of what we just witnessed.
Yeah, that way we can't say that we're broadcasting the game. We're just going to be talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you see something like you saw last year with STM and LCA, you got to talk about it.
Oh, you got to talk about that, man.
That was nuts.
And I hate to say it, and I'm going to spoil it. Guess what? We got a rematch.
Or 2 it is. Lafayette Showdown.
Oh, my
again.
God. Can you imagine how exciting this is going to be? A lot of locals going, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But, man, I can't wait.
Speaking of the locals, you reach out. You got some teams that have not been there in a while that are not locals that you're excited to see also in action.
Talk about them in a minute, yeah.
I mean, you look at the Baton Rouge area, you'll be represented there. You look at areas like the 318 area, 5 teams going. So it's very exciting times right now, and we'll see who wins a state title next week. I mean, tickets have been purchased for a lot of people, but if you have not seen where you can buy tickets, you can get them $25 right now online at Ticketmaster. I know every school is posting links. And then if you want to go get them at the gate, they're going to be $30 at the gate. Remember, you do have a parking fee.
Right.
Somebody says St. James helmet. Remember, we are getting that one in the mail.
That one is supposed to be coming in the
mail.
mail.
We'll have that one on for the Wednesday night show this week. So we have 6 in the dome right here, and we'll also have St. James to add. So that'll be our 7th helmet. Remember, Mr. Swallow, no re-entry for any of the Prep Classic games. 2 and older, you will need a ticket. So you're bringing in babies, 2 and under.
Make sure you got
it. Get in free at that point. But it's a little bit about those games next weekend, and always find you somewhere to park if you don't have a hotel nearby, because those parking garages, they can add up for 3 straight days.
Oh yeah, you're right. So you better be ready.
Yes, indeed. All right, you ready, Mr. Swallow? Let's talk a little football real quick. You got 3 1 seeds remaining in the playoffs, headed to the state title. We started with 8. We're down to 3.
Right. And you know what? I know we saw one, and that was some good ball games. Very exciting. To see that ball game. Trying to take care of business.
And we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that game in a little while. But
I mean, when you see the
had
competitiveness,
3 of them fall this past weekend.
The competitiveness of the playoffs, that's what you want. Mm-hmm. You want to see good games, and yes, number 1 seeds you expect them to roll. Didn't happen this year.
Absolutely.
Didn't happen this year. So
we'll
talk about that.
We'll get 3 in dome this week, and remember, if you're paying close attention to those playoff brackets, all 3 1 seeds will be in action on the Saturday. Mm-hmm. So Thursday, Friday, no 1 seeds there. A lot of great matchups on Thursdays and Fridays. But if you want to see the 1 seeds in action, they're going to play all on Saturday.
Right, that's gonna be unbelievable. But I'm excited. I'm ready to go, man. I'm sorry. If I could have left, yesterday, we could have left Gina and went straight on to New Orleans.
Yes. How about this? The 12 seed Opelousas Tigers are the highest remaining seed in the playoffs and will play for a state title.
Isn't that crazy?
12 seed, the highest this year.
Right there. Isn't that awesome?
There's only one 1 versus 2 matchup in the state title game.
Right.
So all the 1 versus 2s, they're gone. We got one of them, and that's going to be St. Charles versus Calvary Baptist.
Right.
How special of a matchup that's going to be. The only 1-2 matchup in the dome.
That's going to be a popcorn and soda pop game, because you're not going to want to move. You want to stay right there and watch and don't miss anything, because you're talking some awesome football that's going to be played in that game. And either one can win. It can be that's a true coin flip. So it's going to be a great matchup.
Saturday.
Yes.
How about 3 state champions from a year ago still in the big dance and have a shot to repeat?
3 of them.
3 of them.
We thought we were going to have more, but we're down to 3 defending champions.
And guess what else? 3 runner-ups from last year are back in the title game.
Right.
So we start to look at those teams there. St. Charles, St. Thomas More, and who was my third one? I'm missing.
LCA was
no.
That was a runner-up.
And Oak Grove.
Oak Grove.
So
I'm sorry.
Oak Grove, St. Charles, St. Thomas More. Your only 3 state title winners from a year ago are back.
Right.
State runner-ups from a year ago that are back: Ruston, LCA, and who's my last one, Gary? Union Parish.
The one we saw this week.
6 great teams.
Yes.
Back in the dome.
You're right. And for a lot of those runners-up, they think that this is the year for them to take the title.
Yes.
And you know what? They're all confident. They're all ready to go. But, like I said, you got to play the game to see what's going to happen. And, man, I can't wait.
And you said you love seeing new teams get there. You love seeing new matchups. You love seeing new rivalries unfold. Well, guess what?
We
No
gotta go.
rematches of last year's title games this year. We got 8 brand new ball games.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm excited about that. New blood. I like new blood.
Yes, sir.
You know, whenever you see new people come in, that means you got a lot of diversity, a lot of excitement in the communities around the state. And I'm gonna tell you something. You can say what you want. Louisiana has talent, man. Louisiana is one of the best high school, states there is as far as football. And yes, we probably can't compare to Texas really good, but I mean, what I've seen this year, we have some talent, and we got a lot of coaches that are looking at this talent. I mean, we saw scouts at the game we were at this weekend at the Union Parish and game. We saw some a lot of, I don't know about you, but I noticed there was a lot of college scouts that were walking around. And so I'm excited to see that, but I'm excited that the talent is being recognized.
Yes, sir. We got 3 rematches of regular season games.
Yes, we do.
We'll keep an eye on that. A couple of, I think all 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken, were district title games.
Right, exactly.
I think. I'm not sure. I mean, is Oak Grove and Haynesville same district? I don't want to lie to you.
I'm not sure. I don't remember about that. But I know
LCA, St. Thomas More, they play for a district title. Cecilia OHS, they play for a district title. Well, I think all 4 of these teams would rather end the season under the grandest stage and play for the state title.
You can't ask for better than this.
The
not
ultimate
a local
rematch.
That is. That's one of the best things that can happen.
And then Oak Grove, Haynesville, Part 2, they get another rematch from the regular season.
So, I mean, you got a lot of excitement that's coming to the Dome. I mean, I hate to say this, but man.
It was non-district.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, in Lafayette, whenever, in the Acadiana area, and even Opelousas, turn out the lights because there ain't gonna be nobody left in the city.
And you don't,
you
highly expect Cecilia.
Cecilia's gonna clean out because Cecilia's gonna clean out, and they're gonna say, "We'll see you in New Orleans." So this is
gonna be
this
a
is great.
sea of orange,
That's great.
a sea of gold at the Dome.
Oh yeah, it's gonna green and gold. Yes, it's gonna be. This is gonna be one of the best games there. This is gonna be a exciting game there. This is gonna be exciting. I mean, that's gonna be a good. There's no bad games, Jordy.
We get our money's worth.
That's right. I'm ready.
Yes, sir. Gary, 4 teams ranked outside of the top 4 when these initial playoffs came out, and they said this is the best 4 teams. I got 4 of them that made it to the finals.
Just 4.
Yes, sir.
4.
4 that are not in the top 4. We look at them. OHS at 12.
Right.
Acadiana at 8. Zachary at 6. And Riverside at 5. That's some heavy hitters. Acadiana, Zachary, OHS, Riverside, all out of the top 4, but all have made it to the party and will be battling for a state title this coming week.
Yes. Man, that's just so exciting. I'm excited for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just what it is. They didn't think we were good enough, and now look where we're at. That's just great. I mean,
sir. Acadiana, speaking of them, Mr. Swallow, the Wrecking Rams, they're the first public school to make it to the finals in the select bracket. I guess you can call them. Select, but we know the deal there, right?
Oh, most definitely. Let me tell you something about Acadiana. I don't care what anybody says. Acadiana is a popular team. You can call them select, non-select, whatever. They're just a team that is exciting to watch, exciting to be around.
And what about the buys this year? You had some teams with buys that have made it to the Dome. 14 of them to be exact.
Exactly.
But 2 of them, without a buy, made it through the playoff system, and they're in the state title game. Zachary and Opelousas.
Right. They've been playing since week 1. They have gotten in a rhythm, and they have been shining ever since. They went through week one all the way through to the finals. Congratulations to those guys, because that is one thing that you got to say. You got to say, like me, you got to keep that machine oiled. You got to keep it running, and they did. And man, especially Zach. We'll talk about how they won. But man, that's what you got to do. You got to keep it coming. You have a fight. It's hard to win 5 in a row and stay healthy. That's the most important, as far as 4 in a row. 4 in a row. I'm sorry, 4 in a row, and then stay healthy and get there, not banged up. But it looks like they did. They've done it. At least we haven't heard anything.
And Gary, we're going to be missing some teams this year, like we said. But it's a crazy thing to think to yourself. Ouachita Parish will not be represented this year.
Right.
New Orleans will not be represented this year. Check this out, Gary. Ouachita Parish, first time they will not have a team from the parish in the Dome since 2007.
Right.
New Orleans, first time since 1992, no school from New Orleans will compete in the Prep Classic. Wow. It's been a long time.
That's crazy. If you'd have told me that at the beginning of the playoffs, I'd have told you you were drinking. It was unbelievable. But it's a fact now. You're representing. Look at this. I mean, look at this for our home people. I mean, I'm sorry. You can say what you want.
I mean, one and two is on the outside.
But
we
got 4 in the middle, and then we don't have Acadiana local. I mean, goodness. We got, if you consider it.
And we don't have the Baton Rouge.
Yeah, and we don't have the Baton Rouge schools, but Baton Rouge, Lafayette area, in Opelousas area, I call the central part of Louisville. Man, we're represented good.
Got 5 of us.
Got 5 of us, yes. Most definitely.
From the 337 area.
Yeah.
But
and
you look at the 225, you look at other places and so on, but we should see a lot of familiar faces in the Dome for sure.
Right. I'm excited, Jordy. I just can't wait to be there. It's making me get antsy. I've got a lot of things to prep, like this week. I've got to make sure, because it's crazy for me at work, but I'm gonna be working to try to get everything covered. We're gonna leave Thursday morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thursday morning, bright and early, and we're gonna be there.
Beignets and Sunrise.
That's right. We're gonna be heading out there.
They ain't gonna let us in, but we're gonna try to get in early.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna be doing our best.
Knocking on the doorsteps, trying to figure out what's going on. Why y'all ain't let us in the building yet?
You're right.
So 337 area, like you said, is well represented. We're guaranteed 2 state titles.
Right.
And if everybody's wondering why we're talking so much about this area, I mean, we are broadcasting live from Opelousas, Louisiana.
Right.
So we're a central-based platform here that covers the state of Louisiana.
Right.
But we're still right here in the middle
of the state.
Yes.
We're in the middle of Cajun country, so it all works.
318 area, they're guaranteed 1 title.
Correct.
Grove and Haynesville.
Correct.
I mean, there's some guarantees already where they're going to take 3 titles out of the 8 back to different parts of the state.
Correct, yes. And you know what? And there's nothing more exciting than bringing home a title. It just proves all your hard work has paid off. And I'm excited. There's some matches, and we're going to go over that in a minute, and we're going to even recap it Wednesday whenever we do our pick show. But, man, they got some great matchups in these finals.
And we have not even talked about the games from the semifinals
I know.
But let's, one more time, with these teams that will compete for a state title next week, how about we check the state titles in school history?
Right.
These teams are going for state titles next week.
Yeah.
Haynesville leads the pack, going for title number 18 next week.
Wow. 18.
Golden Tornado got 17 in their trophy case, and how sweet would 18 be?
Oh, that'd be awesome. And we all know who the leader is, but I mean, it's they must be number 2 or right behind them, huh?
2 or 3. I'm not
they're
sure.
they're in they're when you have 17 state championship trophies in football, man, you're the bomb.
And Gary, it's been a while. Haynesville has not been to the title game since 2016.
I know that's 7 years.
How about this? Big Ruston in the title game back-to-back seasons. They have not won a title in quite some time, but they got 8 of them.
Right.
Number 9 in 2023 would be special for those guys after
definitely.
Last year's defeat in the title game. You know it's on their minds.
Correct, and I understand that.
Oak Grove, they're trying to go back-to-back. They got 7 in their trophy case, going for number 8 and to be claimed back-to-back state champions this year. Acadiana from the Scott area, right here, local here, got 6.
They would love 7.
Yes, sir.
We'd love to see that.
Southern Lab, 5. St. James got 5. So 2 teams right there are well-respected programs fighting for their 6th title this year. Catholic of Baton Rouge got 4. I'm not sure if some of these were stripped or this is including the stripped titles, but they're going for their 5th. LCA, remember the 4-peat.
Right.
So they're going for their 5th title. St. Thomas More trying to go back-to-back and get their 5th title. And Zachary trying to get their 5th title.
Right.
So all 3 of those teams have 4.
Right.
And then here's where I was a little shocked. Calvary Baptist in St. Charles only got 3.
Right.
But they got a shot to get number 4
Right.
this year. We'll see. One of them's guaranteed to get their 4th.
Yeah, one of them's guaranteed to get. And what, isn't St. Charles looking for 3-peat?
Yes.
So they've had one before where they had 2 in a row. So this is they're trying to itch for that 3rd in a row.
Yes,
and
sir.
that's going to be awesome.
Cecilia, Riverside, and if you don't count Farmerville, Union Parish all got 1.
Right.
And those teams there, you got to know it's been a while since they've won a title, and they want to get that number 2 this season.
Correct.
And then Opelousas High has 0. But how special to cap off 2023 with your very first one.
Right. They've played for the title before.
Yes, sir.
But they've never won it. And,
that trophy case has been dusted off, and you got to think those guys want that very first
if they
one.
get that trophy, you're going to have, and I'm going to tell you, I know Chris and they're going to put a spotlight on that sucker because that is something very special. And, hey, it can happen. It can happen.
We look at it. The last time some of these teams competed for a state title, St. James 2019. Remember, they won the title that year against Jennings. This is for going back the longest, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Riverside back in 2016. Haynesville also back in 2016. And here's the big 2 here. For the first time in over a decade, I would say, these 2 teams here, Cecilia and Opelousas, somebody's going to bring a state title home, and it's been a long time coming for both of them.
For both of these teams, yes,
Cecilia,
correct.
1995. Opelousas High, 1956.
Right. Wow. That is just awesome.
Yes, sir. That's why I said the Farmerville one back then. I'm not sure if they're with the name Union Parish, if they're going off of 1 or if they're going off of 2.
I'm not really sure, but Farmerville, I remember because Port Barry ran into Farmerville and we lost by 1 point to those guys back in that day. It was awesome. They were a great ball club. I was actually on the sideline during that game. But yeah, Farmerville, Union Parish. I don't know if they've merged them or counted how they count that, but
the school records wise.
Yeah, right. I'm not really sure, but Farmerville got 1, Union Parish got 1, so it's 1 and 1, or it might be since they merged, it might be considered 2.
Yes, sir.
We're not sure yet. We're not sure.
All right, let's go and check out some of these semifinal games because we're going to touch on all 16 teams.
Let's do that.
We're going to dive right into all 16 teams. We're going to give our thoughts on the opponents in the state championships. But before then, we got some semifinal games to talk about. And boy, did some of these games live up to the hype.
Oh, they were some wowers.
And not all of them.
Not
all of them. Some of them were convincing fashion. Statement wins to punch their ticket, but 16 tickets were punched. Let's go through them.
And some of them we had a Part A and a Part B.
Yes.
Remember that.
It took 2 days to get them done.
Correct.
Here we go. Division 1 non-select was our first game we're going to touch on here. Big Ruston. They're trying to get back to the state title game, Gary. They had a red-hot Mandeville team coming in that was scoring for days. Ruston, they put the clamps down. Right. They had their defense show up in this one, 28-7 over a team that was averaging 40-plus through 3 rounds in the playoffs. Ruston, they're back in the title game, rightfully so, 28-7. They got unfinished business.
Right. Let me tell you something. Ruston is flexing their muscles at the right time. They're actually coming out there and they're just They're doing what it has to do. I mean, they dominated this game. Mandeville,
And it seems like they've been on cruise control since that second round scare to Westgate.
Correct. That was, I guess you would say maybe a wake up call for them, and because they've been putting up points and dominating ever since. So this is going to be a good ball game.
Get to
in the
see
future.
Big Ruston back in the dome, and you know how well they travel.
Yeah. And by the way, aren't they sending us a helmet too?
Big Ruston
said they're going to send us a helmet for our collection, guys. So we've been promised a few more. So our collection is growing. So if you're not on the wall, guys, we need you guys to send us one. Okay.
Looking at that other semifinal matchup, and this one had all kind of controversy, drama, and comeback for the ages.
You right, Jordy. That was one of the big oh my God wows.
Zachary and Dutchtown, they met on Friday night, and Dutchtown jumped out to a 28-13 lead. You gotta think the Griffins wanted to finish that game that night because they were looking red hot and real good to punch their ticket for the very first time in school history. But Gary, Mother Nature had other plans.
You're right, man.
You had to move the game to Saturday,
right.
And you give Zachary a second shot, a second dose, I should say, and look what happened.
Oh man, if you'd have told me that this would have happened, I would have said you're crazy. But boy, did they come out with a vengeance! It was unbelievable.
What was 28-13 quickly erased in a matter of a few moments.
Right.
Zachary marched right down the field to start the game. They scored. There was a penalty because those guys were lining up for an extra point. And there was a penalty. Offense back on the field. Let's go for two. Let's make this a one-score game. Next thing you know, it was 28-21. I called you. I said, get ready. Here comes the comeback.
Right.
And next thing you know, wouldn't you know, Dutchtown throws a pick six.
Right. Tying the game. And it tied it up real quick. Boom. Like that. Before you knew it, it was tied.
Next thing you know, it's 28-28. We're at a halfway point of the fourth quarter, and you got Dutchtown. They're stunned. They were, at that point, it was like the momentum switched. It went to the other sideline, and Zachary was smelling blood.
And when you get the momentum on Zachary's side, look out.
Dutchtown ended up having a punt, gave it to Zachary, and Zachary marched right down the field, Gary. They set up a walk-off opportunity as time expired to win the game on a field goal. But wouldn't you know, the Griffins would still have life? He missed it wide left.
That's what I'm saying. He missed it.
We had to go play overtime football on a Saturday.
I was like, when you told me that, I was like, oh my God, that was their chance. And I thought that Dutchtown was gonna take it.
Once Dutchtown got that little sigh of relief and said, okay, let's flush whatever happened this fourth quarter. Let's go win it in overtime.
Right.
Zachary won the toss. Mm-hmm. The third, they wanted to go on defense first. Dutchtown could not get nothing moving. Lined up for a field goal to take the lead. Zachary blocked it.
Unbelievable.
A few plays later, Coach Bruce says, here you go, young man. I'll give you another opportunity to send us to the dome. And it was through the crossbars right down the middle.
Right.
The celebration was on. Final score 31-28. Zachary Broncos headed to the dome in an overtime thriller. Comeback for the ages.
That was. And, we talked about that. How it was going to affect. Last night, whenever we were on our way back, we were talking about, okay, all of these games that are being postponed or having to, play today.
It's going to be an advantage or disadvantage.
Is it going to be an advantage for the team that's ahead? It's going to be a plus. Is it going to affect one team different? Well, I tell you what, Dutchtown, they found out that it affected them in the worst way, and Zachary got some life, and look out, that's what happened.
A swing just
Total
like
swing,
that.
just like that.
So that state championship is set Saturday night to close out the Prep Classic, 7 o'clock. I mean, it might not be 7 o'clock. You got St. Thomas More and LCA kicking off the noon slot. They might go 3-4 overtimes.
Yeah, you can't ever tell.
We might not start that final game till 9-10 o'clock that night. But
anything is possible.
Yes, sir. But 7 o'clock as of now, number 1 seed Ruston versus the number 6 seed Zachary. Boy, is that going to be some fun.
That's going to be exciting. I can't wait to see that. Guys, if you're not planning on going, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to miss it out. There's nothing like watching it straight up in person. But, you know,
this one
try
right
to
here,
be there. This one is going to be something.
A lot of people said Ruston Destrehan, but I'm okay with Ruston Zachary. This is a great matchup, and I can't wait to see the Division I, Division II, Division III talent on the field.
Correct. You are right. There's going to be college scouts all over this Superdome looking at different people. This is what I said earlier. I said they're going to have people looking at different people from all over the country. So look out.
So we recap Division II non-select now.
Division II non-select.
Yes, sir. We'll stay in the public side of the bracket.
Okay.
And we start off with North DeSoto, the number 1 team in the state. Opelousas, the number 12 team in the state. Gary, North DeSoto, they're averaging 50 a game.
Yes, they are.
But nobody was nobody was talking about the amount of points Opelousas allowed through 3 games. Take a look at that. 6 in game 1. 0 in game 2, 10 in game 3, and then you go into the number 1 team's house and you hold them to 20 points.
That's a feat in itself, right there. That shows that defense is ready to go.
That defense is locked in, and what they said over the summer when we talked to them. It's dome or bust. And guess what?
They're in the dome.
They went into Stonewall, they kicked the doors down, and they punched their ticket to the state championship for the first time since 1956. Those boys got a shot to get sized up. What a time for the city of Opelousas.
You're right. I think this
Final
is exciting.
Score, 28-20, 12 seed, headed to the dome. Down goes the state runner-ups from a year ago.
You're right. I mean, let me tell you something. This team right here has we've talked about it, has been on a mission. Ever since that early exit last year, they've been on a mission to right the ship and get it done. And you know what? They're doing what it takes. And, you know, they're going to be going against a familiar foe. So look out.
And they get it done on their 11th road game of the season.
11. Can you imagine? I don't know.
And guess where number 12 will be?
At the Dome.
At the Dome.
Can you imagine playing a season with 11
road
games?
Battle tested.
That just...
That bus got some miles.
That bus got a lot of miles on it.
Get the oil change ready.
Yeah,
they
you're
headed
right.
to Porter Street.
You're right. It's going to be crazy. And but you can't say nothing about congratulations. I mean, they have done, Chris says, 1,811 miles traveled this year.
It is.
You can't feel nothing more than just so much pride for these guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm so excited for them. They, like I said, they're searching for their first title.
Something about that first one.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And not being there since 50s.
Yeah, that's making everybody around here, and it's getting them all pumped up and exciting now.
Absolutely. You go to the bottom of the bracket. Northwest Cecilia.
Right.
Cinderella run through the playoffs. They knocked off the 11 seed. They knocked off the 6 seed. They knocked off the 3 seed. They were playing with major confidence.
Right.
And the season would come to an end at the Dog Pound.
Yeah.
And you start to talk about one of the better teams in the state of Louisiana, you start to look at the Cecilia Bulldogs.
Well, most definitely. That's why I'm so excited about this matchup. You've got the same district. You've got an offense from heaven. You know, I think Diesel is the real deal. You got a good defense. You got good special teams. You got a good all-around team right here.
Gary, they wrapped up 400 yards in the first half last week against that Raider defense.
Right, most definitely.
And it's not just Diesel Solari.
No.
The running back is going crazy himself.
You're right. I think that's why, I can't tell you anything. I love our Tigers, and I love the Cecilia Bulldog. But man, this is going to be the most exciting game that they're going to have in the Dome this weekend. Now, I can't take anything away from this as far as offense, but I mean, with the atmosphere,
Last time we got
everything we
it
hear,
was a 25-22 ball game.
That's what I'm saying.
Could we see a similar game?
Probably.
Or will we see shootout for the ages?
We may see a little of both. We may see it depends. It may start be a shootout at first, then when the defenses settle in, it might be a little bit tighter.
And with both teams that have not been there in a while,
right? You might have butterflies.
Control the emotion.
Yeah,
early.
you might have butterflies. But let me tell you something. I'm excited about this, but man, they came out on fire.
Cool. Did they come out?
They come out on fire.
400 yards in the first half.
Correct.
I'm not sure what they finished with, but it was a dominating performance at home. 55-18, Cecilia rolls into the Dome,
right.
And a lot of us thought they would when we did our pre-bracket release show about 5 weeks ago.
You know, when you have a team the way that they're built, they're going to they have a little bit of everything. They're going to roll. And I gotta give Northwest credit. They actually went in there and they did their best, but on that particular night, they were rolling.
And you gotta think to yourself, it's a redemption year for those guys, knowing their leader went down last year.
Most definitely,
and
yes.
It's been a full recovery process, and they've got to this point, and they punched their ticket.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I think this is going to be a really exciting ball game.
And I'm glad we get to just be fans.
Yes.
Sit in the end zone and watch a local win a state title.
Right. I'm
Whether
excited.
it's a local out of right there in Cecilia, or if it's a local right there out of Opelousas, we're guaranteed a local state champion, and we're going to sit there and we're going to be proud of both teams.
I'm going to get a big bucket of popcorn and sit down and watch them, and then I can't wait to see this ball game. I think, like I said, this is going to be one of the most exciting games of the
It's
of
the
evening.
most anticipated matchup we've ever been to as fans.
Oh,
Me and you.
most definitely. What was the final?
Final score 55-18. And
Wow.
Cecilia, they've been on cruise control through the playoffs.
Right.
70-30, 38-14, and now 55-18. That red hot offense, and the only team that's really slowed them down this year was Opelousas.
Right.
We get part 2.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
We get it for all the marbles.
Right. District champs, district runner-up, whatever however you want to call it. But OHS kept them in check pretty much, pretty good. But
found a way to win at the end.
Find a way to win at the end right here. It's hard to beat a team twice in a year. So this is going to see. Will their defense be up to the task to stop them again? Mm-hmm. Only time will tell.
I got Cecilia's offense versus OHS's defense.
Correct.
For the state title.
I've pretty much agree with you. I've got the same thing.
So we book it. It is a date, and it is set in time.
Right.
Friday at noon.
12
you better
noon.
Get there early because both towns are shutting down. They're going to be in the Dome.
You're right.
Noon. The number 2 seed Cecilia Bulldogs will take on the number 12 seed Opelousas Tigers for the right to be the state champs. Somebody's bringing the title home for the very first time in a long time. And OHS, it could be their very first title in school history. Get ready. Should be some fun.
Yes. That's going to be crazy. I'm excited.
There we go. Division 3 9-select now, my friend. And the pleasure to cover that football game last week. What an honor. And what a semifinal atmosphere we got to witness when Gina and Union Parish met up on the gridiron.
You are right, Jordy. That was, I said it when we were there. I said that was one of the most exciting games we watched this year, at least us together, at least in my opinion. They were so evenly matched. But Union.
But was we wrong or what?
We were.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because we said 2 great running backs, 2 great football teams. We should be in for a track meet.
Yeah.
And guess what happened? The defenses came to play, my friend. Holy cow. We said it live on the air. Union Parish, we said it at the end of the show. That was the best defense we've seen all season.
Correct. had the line were putting pressure on the quarterback. Quarterback couldn't stay. They were shutting down the running back. They were stopping the receivers from catching the ball. They were on them like glue. Basically, they were stuck to their. It was one of the best defensive performances that I've seen in a long time.
Gary, it was 7-0 at halftime, and it was not an offensive score. It was a scoop and score on the very first drive in the first quarter. And
Right.
we did not have points again for a while.
No, not till the second half, really.
Close to the fourth.
Well, it was unbelievable. And so you sitting down there watching that, and you see
defensive
you watch.
war.
Well, first of all, you were watching a Gina offense that we watched against Bunkie that was actually pretty much unstoppable. And you had a Union Parish defense that just hit them in the mouth, and they hit them, and that ball went flying. And that young man, a freshman, picks it up and scoops and scores. You can't ask for better than that.
And in the game started getting good at the end. Both offenses started finding success, getting some points. Gina hit a big slant.
Correct.
Receiver took it to the house.
Yeah, I was.
And came back. Union Parish. Special teams does matter. When you get to this point of the season, they got a good kicker.
Yes.
He put those guys back on the board. And then it really came down to Union Parish's offensive line taking over the game.
Most definitely. We talked about it for the keys to victory. Control the line of scrimmage. And Gina had a decent line, but Union Parish's defense and offense put it together, and they controlled the line to where they took it the rest of the way.
So it was a 17-8 ball game?
Something like that, yeah. No, it was 17-16.
Right, but before they went score that touchdown.
Okay. Oh, yes.
17-8, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 17-8.
Okay.
And then they scored and then went for a 2-point conversion. So
Okay,
that's
so
how
it
it
can
was
make it 17-16.
Right.
Yeah, because it was 10-8 at one point.
Right.
And then it was 17-8. And then they scored with like a little time left to go in the
Right.
clock. And then it came down to an onside kick.
Right.
Recovered by Union Parish. And what happened then was some craziness.
Right.
Gina's coach said, defense, we're going to let them score. Which I thought Union Parish, you just fall down, the game's over with.
Pretty
There's no
much,
timeouts,
yeah.
you run it out, you take a couple knees, you're done. So when he broke loose, I said, oh yeah, he's about to fall down. And
But no, he scored.
He
He
kept
went
going,
in.
he scored, and they got the extra point. It was an 8-point game, and they had to kick it back off to Gina with a minute to play.
Right.
So we knew we were in for something at the end. But wouldn't you know, the same freshman that had the scoop and score at the beginning of the game would come back in the fourth quarter under a minute and put the game on ice and punch the Farmers back to the dome with a game-sealing interception.
Right. Yeah, he was our player of the game.
Player of the game.
Yes.
Very first time a player of the game this season has been a defensive player.
Right. That was amazing. But out of all this year, this young man deserved it because scoop and score, game-sealing interception.
For what was a defensive game.
Yeah, defensive ball game. Yes.
24-16 final score. We know the score doesn't give justice to how good both defenses were. This was a lot of points in the fourth
Right.
quarter, but wow, what a game!
It was one of the best games that I've watched, and it was exciting. And we watched the fans, the support all the way around. That was a packed house. In the fourth quarter, I don't know if anybody sat down. It was standing room only, and I mean, everybody was excited.
Union Parish brought the house also.
Yes.
They were packed in there with us. We were in the visitor bleachers.
Yes.
But I have to commend Gina.
Right.
That was the biggest crowd we've ever covered a game in, and the loudest crowd we've
Most
ever
definitely.
covered a game in.
Most definitely.
They were
yes.
loud, for sure.
They were supporting their Giants, and I'll tell you what. But Union brought a good
game
crowd
plan.
too, and they had a good game plan. Everything came together. So man, it's a shame you have to see one team lose, but that was one of the best games I've seen. And
That was Gina's first time to the semifinals in school history. They'll be back.
oh, most definitely. I think that's
Union
just
Parish,
the beginning.
5th straight appearance in the semifinals.
Correct.
They're still here.
Isn't it fourth in the finals?
And guess what? After punching their ticket fourth straight trip to the state championship.
That's what I thought.
You got to start thinking
Yeah.
it's fourth time the charm.
That's what I'm saying. But they're going to have a tough challenge.
Yes, sir. Now we go check on that bottom of the bracket. St. James and Sterlington. This one had everything that you wanted and more for two good ball clubs going at it. Would the game live up to the hype? That was to be determined, because we know this one had great football to be played. St. James, there was a redemption season. These guys had it on their mind. They wanted to get back to give their self a shot to get to the Dome. And they had one of their tougher tests of the season go and play in Sterlington. We know that's not the easiest places to win. And the way they won that football game, 28-17, St. James is real. St. James is loaded, and St. James is going to be tough to beat.
Let me tell you something. To go into Sterlington and beat them is a feat in itself. You know how tough it is to play over there.
Absolutely.
But, man, St. James, they were on a mission. They put it down, and they said,
season.
let's go. Let's do this. We have to take care of business, and they've been doing it. So
they made it a business trip, and business-related. St. James back in the Dome, first time since 2019.
Right.
And you got to think to yourself, you start looking at this matchup, two completely different styles that we will see in the Dome.
Correct. I'm excited. I think this is going to be a very exciting matchup.
Intriguing.
You know, can Union's defense work, and can St. James stop Union? You know, it's
Union Parish's defense played the game of their life
Right.
last week. Can they do it 2 weeks in a row? St. James, you know how explosive they are on offense.
They score. They score.
Can they get enough opportunities this week? Because you know Union Parish, 6 to 8 minute drives.
Right.
Kill that clock. We'll see the time of possession wise for these two teams
Right.
on Friday. How many chances will they get?
You're looking at wide open offense, and you got defensive standouts. I mean, it's going to be unbelievable.
Yes, sir. That should be a game in itself, and we get it in the middle of the day, where you just seen a really good Cecilia OHS game, and then you just sit back and you say, here we go. We got another good one coming right at you.
Most definitely.
We start to look at that matchup, Mr. Swallow. 3:30 kickoff, Friday. Number 3 seed St. James. Number 4 seed Union Parish for the right to be the state champs. And guess what? St. James ain't won a title since 19. Union Parish ain't won a title since 2013. Something's got to give in the Superdome Friday at 3:30.
This just means new blood. New blood. And I'm excited about that. I can't wait to see this game. Defense versus offense, maybe?
Or
that's what it looks like. Or can it be flip-flop?
Or it could be St. James's defense trying to control that power running game.
Correct.
I don't know. We'll see. It's definitely intriguing and definitely a big-time football game. Two well-respected programs, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
You're right. You're right. I'm excited. All the way around, Jordan.
Haynesville Oak Grove is your next one, Division IV non-select. We start with those semifinal matchups. Logansport and Haynesville met up. We said Logansport, tough environment to go win in. We were
there last week.
It was there last week. It's a crazy atmosphere. They got some really good football players, but Haynesville, and they've been here before. They know how to win the big games, and they went into Tiger Stadium, and they dominated and made a statement. And you don't think those guys want a rematch with Oak Grove?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's their only loss this season.
I think that's a mission that they want.
And you think to yourself, they're highly motivated to get another crack at the state champs of a year ago that beat them earlier in the season.
You're right.
31-14 final score. Haynesville back in the Prep Classic like they never left. It's been a while. 2016.
But didn't you say they have 17 titles?
17 titles.
17 football titles in their school history. Now, and they're looking for 18, man. That's like you said,
Remarkable.
They're on a mission, and I can't wait to see them play in person.
Yes, sir. And then the bottom of that matchup, Oak Grove, Kentwood under the water tower. 2 years in a row, Oak Grove ends Kentwood's season
Right.
at the water tower. Gary, final score 49-28. Oak Grove. Vinny said it best on Wednesday night. The Oak Grove Mangum quarterfinal matchup. You got to think to yourself, it woke those guys
Right.
up and it sent a message to the locker room. And he expected them to come out and handle business in the semifinals.
Right.
And what they did, they handled business.
Well, it's hard to beat Kentwood in Kentwood, but just the way that it is,
years in a row.
Oak Grove is always a power. I mean, they've been that way for quite a while, and they just went in there and they dominated, and they did what they had to do. So, hats off to Oak Grove. Tough year for Kentwood, but man, I can't wait to see this finals. You're gonna have Haynesville wanting revenge against Oak Grove. Look out! It's gonna be
49-28 winners. Oak
some
Grove
excitement.
back into the title game to defend their state championship crown.
Right.
To be the champ,
yeah.
you got to go beat the champ. But Oak Grove, they want to go back to back. And a lot of people in preseason
Right.
have put them as back-to-back champions. But if I know the Golden Tornado, I have a
Oh,
lot to say about this one. And I highly expect this one to be a better ball game than the regular season.
I think this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out, scrappy fight. I ain't gonna say.
Roll your sleeves up.
Let's
and
go.
Meet me inside the hash marks.
Watching.
Who wins it after 4 quarters,
And
48 minutes?
Let's do it. That's all I can say. Is that they're talking amongst themselves, saying, "Let's do it." And you know what? They gonna. It's gonna be. This has the making of a classic.
Yes, sir. So we start to look at that matchup. The matchup is set Thursday night to close out the Thursday slate of games. 7 o'clock. You're going to get the 3-seed Oak Grove going for a back-to-back state title against the 4-seed Haynesville for going for their 18th state title. You cannot,
God, I can't fathom
you cannot
that.
script it up any better.
I can't fathom that. I mean, you've heard of the Curtises and all of the stuff, those teams. But 18, man, I would just, oh my God, that's going to be classic. It's going to be.
What a game that it will be, my friend.
Yes,
Where
sir.
we will have eyeballs all over it
You're
Thursday
right.
night.
You are 100% right.
Let's go Division 4 select, my friend.
Division 4 select. Let's do it.
We stick with the Division 4. We'll work our way back to Division 1. We go private schools in a select bracket here. And we start with Vermilion Catholic in Riverside. This one had weather delays
Right.
and had a little bit of craziness in it.
You're
when
right.
you looked at this score, you said Riverside going into Vermilion Catholic and beating those guys 34-7. Who saw that one coming except Riverside? I expected they had a shot to beat them, Gary.
Right.
I thought with their talented running back and their team playing with major confidence, they had a shot to go knock off the Screaming Eagles, but that's a different place to go win a game in.
You're
And
right.
That's a statement win in itself, and one of the bigger statement wins in recent memory over the 1 seed in the bracket.
Right. You're truly right. It's unbelievable. I didn't see them going in there and doing that to VC, but how they say that, to be the champ you got to beat the champ. Well, VC is a talented ball club, and you want to
12-0.
Yeah, 12-0. They were 12-0 going into this
Semi-final
game.
home
Yeah.
field advantage, and Riverside comes in and makes the statement of the year
Right.
to punch their ticket to the title game for the
Right.
first time since 2016.
Right. Congratulations to VC on an awesome season, but Riverside just came in there a little too strong.
Absolutely, my friend.
What was the final, George?
34-7, Riverside dancing in New Orleans.
Wow. That's total domination. And like you said,
And
they
that's
had
gotta feel good for the River Parish.
a lot of rain delays and a lot of lightning delays and stuff like that they had over there. It was crazy.
They
But
lose out on Lutcher this year
Yeah.
and Destrehan getting back, but they do pick up a Riverside, and they do pick up St. Charles is back, and they get one more. Who's the last one? I can't think of. Thought they had 3 playing for the title from the River Parish. And I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And St. James.
St. James. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
I'm sorry, St. James, yes.
So 3 last year, 3 this year. So they're well represented again.
Most definitely.
Ouachita Christian and Southern Lab. A lot of people call this the state title game here in the semifinals. Ouachita Christian looked like they were walking away with this football game. And the next thing you know, Southern Lab out of nowhere. That final few minutes in the fourth quarter,
right.
What they scored 3 touchdowns in a matter of 5 minutes. I don't want to lie to you. I don't have the exact stats.
It was fast.
When they looked like they were they were finished. They come storming right back. We said the Zachary's comeback was impressive.
Yeah.
But I could put this one up with the most impressive comebacks of the semifinals. A game-sealing pick 6 to knock off the state champs 38-34. What a win for Southern Lab. They're headed back to the title game. To be the champ, you got to beat the champ. Well, Gary, they stunned the champs in comeback fashion.
You're right. I mean, I couldn't believe that. Whenever you told me that, I was like, going, no way.
Well, we were looking at the scores all night when we were covering the Union Parish game, and then we just saw out of nowhere, man, this is starting to get a little lopsided.
Yeah.
It's getting late in the fourth. And then next thing you know,
boom.
You snap a finger, Southern Lab upsets Ouachita Christian on a pick 6.
Correct.
Unbelievable. Man. So we get this matchup here, Gary. We start to look at it. And it will be the first game to kick off the Prep Classic on Thursday.
Right.
So we got 8 games.
This is going to be the first one
It's going to be the very first one. And we will have a 3:30 kickoff between the number 2 seed Southern Lab versus the number 5 seed Riverside. It could very well live up to a great ball game, or it could very well get one-sided. I'm not sure what to think about this one. I'll have to let some people convince me that Riverside and Southern Lab's going to be a dang good football game. But you start to look at Riverside, you go in and knock off the number 1 seed in conventional fashion. Why can't they go beat Southern Lab?
I mean, that's why you play the game.
Yes,
I mean, they got to get it. They got to get it on the field. So, I mean, anything is possible. So, I'm excited. I think this is going to be a very
it's going to be a good way
ball game
to start off the Prep Classic. Can Riverside go and pull off back-to-back big-time upsets in 2 weeks?
Well, they've got the momentum going for them. I mean, they put up 34 points against VC.
Absolutely.
I mean, and VC's a good ball club, but then you got Southern Lab that stunned Ouachita Christian. You don't beat Ouachita Christian. That's at least that's the philosophy that these guys have. You don't beat them. Well, guess what? Southern Lab did.
I think they were down 19 with
I
5
think
minutes to play.
It was. I think it was 19. That's amazing in itself.
What a game! That semifinal game. What a game!
You right.
Division 3 select, my friend.
Yes, sir.
And I'll have to eat my words here, Gary. University Lab did not end the streak of the Comets headed back to the Dome. Comets going for a 3-peat, and the excitement of this one was all defense and a little special teams.
Yeah, a little special teams.
How about a walk-off field goal in overtime to send the Comets back to the Dome, where it looked like they never left?
Right.
10-7 in overtime was a final. St. Charles 3-peat still intact.
Right. I think that's to beat a champ. You got to beat the champ. Well, so far nobody's beat the champ, but they got a date in the finals that's going to be tough. But University Lab, we were talking about how good ULab was, and they proved that they're a good ball club. To go into there and to keep St. Charles to 10 points.
Yeah, but that proves how good St. Charles's defense actually is, and it's been good the last 3 years.
Most definitely.
Another Another proven game for the Comets.
Yes.
10-7. They shut down a really good University Lab offense.
Most definitely. I think it's going to be congratulations to ULab for a great season, but St. Charles is on a mission. They want that three-peat.
Yes. When you get a little taste of it, you just want more of the success. It seems like you just belong there.
Yes, most definitely.
And then the bottom of the bracket, Holly's Lock of the Week hits.
Yes, most definitely.
Calvary Baptist over Newman 35-27. A lot of people did not see this score being as close as it was, but
I'm
the
one of them.
Greenies gave Calvary Baptist all they could handle at home and almost pulled off a big-time win, but Calvary Baptist experience matters, and they've been in the semifinals quite a few times in their past, and they know how to win the close ones.
Calvary Baptist was one of the teams that I looked at and I said, man, they're going to be tough to beat this year. And they're clicking on all cylinders. But Calvary's one of those teams that they don't really rebuild, they reload. So their team is
and ever
always,
since they've made the jump up to 2A,
most definitely.
Look at them, Gary. They're back in the dome.
Yeah,
I mean, they dominated 1A for so many years, and now they're in the 2A bracket, and they prove they belong in whatever bracket you put them in.
I think Calvary can compete with anybody. I'll be honest with you. I think they can compete with anybody.
Got enough offense.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
And got a really talented quarterback.
Yes.
So we look at that matchup, and it is set. And a lot of people wanted this one when the brackets came out.
Right.
They wanted St. Charles. They wanted Calvary Baptist. They wanted it in the Superdome for the title.
And guess what? They got it.
And we got it.
That's right.
What a treat for the fans in the state of Louisiana. What a treat for both fan bases as these two teams will square off for the title. Calvary Baptist has a shot to get the title for they've been there 2 of the last 4 years.
Right.
And then St. Charles going for a three-peat.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun on Saturday when these two teams meet. Our only 1 versus 2 matchup.
Right.
St. Charles's defense versus Calvary Baptist high-powered offense.
Correct.
If you're a fan of offense or defense, you need to be in the building next Saturday.
They're gonna have one or the other going on. Whoever has the ball.
We've seen St. Charles's defense over the years, especially back at Tulane that year. We saw them last year against Dunham. I think I said that right. They played Dunham, correct?
Last year?
Yes, sir.
I think so.
I mean, when they get into the big-time championship games, they hit a second gear. And they're well coached. And Calvary Baptist, their red-hot offense is coming into the Superdome, and they're going to be even faster on that New Orleans Saints playing surface.
Most definitely.
So let's take a look at the matchup. Saturday, 3:30. The number 1 seed, St. Charles Comets, going for a three-peat, but standing in their way is the number 2 seed, Calvary Baptist. We should be in for fireworks, offense versus defense. Get ready. It's going to be a crazy one.
Yes, you're right.
We go to Division 2 select now. Boy,
here we go.
Boy, did this one give up to it. St. Thomas More and Archbishop Shaw met on Friday. This one was, 14-14 until the weather came down. And you said when there's delays, sometimes teams handle it better than others. Sometimes it could be a big factor. Sometimes it goes into a disadvantage of certain teams. When St. Thomas More came out of the weather break, and it was a long weather break, these guys could not be stopped. They went on a mission to finish this game at home, and they punched their ticket back to the title game, 69-30. How good is St. Thomas More's offense, my friend?
Let me tell you something, bud. That's their offensive juggernaut.
The helmet was mailed from St. James, is what we were told. So it should be in the mail. Probably get it tomorrow.
Hopefully, we'll have it by the pick show on Wednesday.
Yeah, but we were told it was mailed last week.
Yes.
So we'll see. Go ahead. St. Thomas More offense. Wow.
St. Thomas More offense, juggernaut. I mean, I'm sorry. This is going to be
57, 49, and now 69. Yeah. You don't just score 69 points in a semifinal game.
Oh, no. And I mean, we were listening to it, in spurts, and it was like, oh, my God, look at this.
Yeah, they come out of the weather they possessed.
Yeah, it's like, it's just like somebody flicked the switch, and they just became, like you said, possessed. And, they just basically dominated from that point on. And I think they're on a mission to, repeat. They want to do it.
Scary good, Gary.
Yes, scary good is not it's not an understatement. It's a fact.
When they was talking about putting the best 4 teams in the playoffs today for college football,
yeah.
Well, you start to look at the best two teams in the state of Louisiana
right
in this
here.
bracket, and St. Thomas More is one of the best 2 teams in the brackets.
You're right.
And they're in the title game.
You're right. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And then LCA Turlings. A lot of us on Wednesday night said this one would be a lot closer than the regular season
and it
matchup.
Was.
The regular season matchup was so lopsided, but this one had a shot to be that much closer. We know Turlings got healthy.
Right.
We know Turlings had extra film on from the regular season.
Right.
But these 2 teams would meet, LCA and Turlings, and this one would actually get washed. They did not want to, did not want to finish it that night.
Right. No, they did it.
Let's go play on a dry surface on Saturday. Let's make sure we get everybody back to come enjoy a good ball game. No wet balls, no nothing.
Yeah.
And
it got interesting.
LCA looked like they were running away with it for a minute.
Right.
And Turlings came storming right back and made this a one-score game at the end.
Couple of turnovers there. I mean, it was one-sided big, and then LCA had a fumble, and I think they had an interception, if I'm not mistaken. But there were some turnovers up towards the end. And Turlings just came back. It was I think a 3-touchdown lead at one time, and then Turlings came back and scored 2 quick ones. LCA had to hold on, so. It was an exciting game, though.
What I was most impressed with from that football game was the way LCA dominated running the football.
Oh, most definitely.
It was not the traditional. We're all going to talk about Juwan Johnson afterwards. It was the tailback that pretty much had a monster night for the Knights, and he was driving the night train to the dome.
You're right. You give him the ball, and I mean that was some runs.
Yeah, the offensive line,
just
man.
Dominating back and forth.
Now we got both of these Lafayette area teams punching their ticket to the state title game. How fun was Part 1 last year? I was stunned of how that one finished, but I was a super fan of how much points we had last year between the two.
But Jordy, just think. You had the title game last year was this. We had a district championship game that was this in week 10?
Mm-hmm.
So, and now this is within the last 2 years. The finals last year and the finals this year, they're going to have met. This is going to be their 3rd time meeting.
And then you go back.
Then you go back further than that.
Go back to the district title game the 4th year.
Yeah. So I mean,
it's Part 4.
Part 4, really.
And they own 3-0.
Yeah, they're 3-0 right now. Can LCA, flip the switch? That's going to be the thing. But boy, I'm excited about this matchup, my friend.
And I'll tell you why, man. You look at this matchup, and you just know you're going to be in for 2 good football teams going at it next week, and they're going to have plenty of offensive explosion and fireworks that's going to be on display.
Right.
The way we watch these matchups these last few years, it's always come down to a classic finish, and I got to think to myself that we're in for another classic treat.
Oh, I think so too, Jordy. I mean, there's no way in the world that I would say that this is going to disappoint anybody.
Gary, this was the best state title game I've ever watched.
Last year, yes, most definitely. This was back and forth. It was just such a two talented ball clubs just going at it. And you know what? I think it was
And
like you said, the best.
give the fans what they want. Give them part 2 in the state title game. You let the quarterbacks, you let the Knights, you let the Cougars battle it out one more time because they're not going to be in the same district next year.
Right.
They're going back to 2A. So
Right.
this is probably our final time
To see this
get
matchup.
to see this matchup in quite a long time.
Right.
And I am not going to take it for granted.
Most definitely. I wouldn't.
I'm going to sit in the end zone, and I'm going to watch the Cougars and Knights go at it for 48 minutes, and we might get 3 or 4 overtimes to go
Drink
with.
our soda, our water, and eat a lot of popcorn or some hot dogs or whatever.
We're going to
nachos.
run out of popcorn. We're going to run out of popcorn in a 4 overtime thriller.
Yeah, most likely. We might.
So we look at this matchup, and we say get ready for Saturday at noon. The number 1 seed, St. Thomas More Cougars, trying to repeat versus the number 3 seed, Lafayette Christian Academy Knights. Get the boxing gloves ready. This is going to be a heavyweight duel between 2 of the best in the Acadiana area going at it, my friend.
I'm just excited. I can't wait. This is going to be one of the best years that we've had as far as locals, but man, I can't wait to see this game. This matchup has got me more excited than almost anything else.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to beat this year's matchups. Last year it was fun. This year it's over the
it's
roof.
over the roof. It's going.
Division 1 select final bracket to recap these semifinal games, my friend.
Yes,
and
sir.
we look at this and say Acadiana, Edna Carr, give it to us again next year.
You right.
Make the matchup, set it in stone, and make it a regular season
I
deal.
would love that. I would love to see that matchup. I mean, first of all, you know how I love
First
Carr.
time in school
I love
history.
How I love
We
Acadiana.
got the Acadiana Record Rams and Edna Carr Cougars, and it lived up to the hype.
It sure did. I was very excited. We kind of kept track of that all during the night, and it was like, oh my God, couldn't believe it.
That one had a little bit of everything.
Yes.
I know the weather came down over there,
Yeah.
but it would not stop those 2 giants for going at it to punch their ticket. And when it was all said and done, Fear to Veer back in the dome. And they ain't been there in a while, Gary.
I know it. I know
Last
it.
time they played for a state title, it was in Natchitoches.
Right.
So you gotta think this senior class is chomping at the bit to get back to New Orleans, and they got it done as an 8 seed
Right.
in what they call the toughest division in the entire bracket.
You're right. Most definitely. I think I agree with that statement. Most definitely.
Final score: Acadiana 30, Edna Carr 24. What a game! Somebody schedule it again next year in the regular season.
You can only have. This is exciting when you and Jordy. Nobody enters the field like Edna Carr. Nobody runs the veer like Acadiana. I mean, I'm sorry, Acadiana is just watching them run the veer and the way that they run their offense is just so exciting. But man, that matchup there. I wish I could have seen the game. We kind of kept track of it and everything.
I wish this one would have
But
been in the dome.
That would have been awesome to have that game in the dome.
Yes, sir. Bottom of the bracket, Catholic of BR and Rummel met up. Another game that was moved to Saturday to finish. They only played the 4th quarter on Saturday.
Correct.
So we were tied 14-14. Catholic of BR comes out and scores first on a 4th down and long. Quarterback running out of time, steps up in the pocket. He's one up to his best receiver, and his receiver makes a remarkable catch on 4th down and long to give Catholic the lead.
Right.
So that's a little bit about that right there. It was 21-14. We come back down. Rummel driving the field, Gary, and guess what happened?
What happened, Jordy?
They threw a shot to the end zone. Receiver made a dive and catch, and the referee overruled it, said the ball hit the ground. There was multiple camera angles and videos put out for the entire state to see. You be the judge. Was it incomplete? Was it a touchdown? We're not here to clarify
we're not gonna judge.
But what a game-changing moment when that pass was called incomplete.
Right.
Catholic would end up getting the ball back. Quarterback just trying to run some clock out. He would run up the middle untouched for the game-sealing touchdown.
Yes.
I mean, Romo comes back, turnover on downs. Catholic gets the football, Gary, and they end up taking a safety to burn some clock.
Right.
So that's how you get the 16 out of it. They take a safety to not give up a punt return touchdown.
Right.
Then it would have came down to an onside kick. So they burn about 13 seconds, give up the safety, and then kick it off to them. So that's how we got a 28-16 final. Catholic of Baton Rouge headed back to the Dome.
This division right here is going to be exciting. That's going to be one of the knockdown dragouts. You got
so you got Baton Rouge versus Lafayette for the title. You can't get any better than that if you're in our seats right now.
Oh God,
that's locals for us.
Yeah, I mean we've covered Catholic of Baton Rouge and we've covered Acadiana as far as fans and all this. But I mean, my God, how much more do you want as a fan to watch Fear the Veer versus the power of Catholic and the excitement of Catholic? Catholic has been on top for a long time as far as dominating. Now maybe they haven't won a few state championships, but
can you imagine the amount of people that will be in the Superdome for this one?
No, I'm gonna tell you, I think it has a chance to break the record.
Well, when that game is over with Friday, you got to think to yourself, a lot of people will stick around to see that Acadiana game at the end of it.
Right, most definitely. I know we'll be there.
Yes.
Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
And I wish this one would have been on the same day also.
That would have been awesome.
If we could have got LCA, St. Thomas More, Opelousas, Cecilia, and Acadiana Catholic of Baton Rouge, it would have been one big old family reunion.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, if they would have all been on the same day, that day you'd have started at noon, and we would have just had a big old.
Imagine the black pots cooking in the parking lot.
Oh, what? We'll be cooking the gravy, man. They're gonna be on the top of the parking garage pulling stuff out. We're gonna be cooking some stuff. It's gonna be unbelievable,
man. But I think Lafayette will show up to support this matchup. I think they will show up to support that final matchup.
Right.
And I think there's going to be some teams and their fans sticking around for the Prep Classic to come and watch this game on Saturday.
Right. Unbelievable. Yep. Unbelievable. Exciting.
We look at the matchup now, Mr. Swallow, and it's our final one that we're covering tonight. 7 o'clock Friday night to close out the Friday edition. It's a big one. Number 3 seed Catholic of Baton Rouge versus the number 8 seed Acadiana for all the marbles.
Wow.
This has everything you want and more. And Catholic of or Acadiana, sign me up.
Yes, you're right. That's going to be one of the most exciting ones that we're going to. But Jordy, we said that about all of the finals that we have right now are going to be exciting games in my book. I think we have some top-notch competition there. I can't wait to get it started on Thursday.
I love going to the Dome every year.
Yes.
I've been every year since 2013. You've been every year since so on. I know there's people that have been there every year since the 80s and 90s. So I know they love going every year. Mm-hmm. This one has a little bit of a feeling that it's different. Mm-hmm. This year feels a little bit different, and it might be because we got so many representing from where we're at and we cover.
Right.
But this one feels different. This one's going to be a special year.
Right. I think so, too.
Yes, sir. Gary, we got all 16 teams going to the Dome. I want to get your thoughts on each team. I'm going to give you my thoughts as we close out tonight's show, my friend.
Okay, let's do it.
So we're going to start out. We're going to talk about all 16 teams. We're going to give our thoughts as they go and play for a state title next week. We're going to start out with St. Charles Comets. This is the 5th straight title, the 5th straight trip to the title game. They're looking for a three-peat. They had a walk-off field goal last week in overtime.
Right.
5th straight appearance in the state title game. St. Charles Comets, Gary.
St. Charles, a team of destiny. They have a lot of tradition. They're just on fire right now. They know how to win, and they know what they want to do. They just got to keep it going, and I'm excited to go and watch them.
What a team.
Yes.
And what a run they have had. 5th straight title appearance. That's all you can say. Remarkable job for the Comets.
Right, I agree with you.
Southern Lab, our next team that we're going to talk about, they're headed back to the Dome for the first time since 2021. A fourth quarter comeback for the ages, a pick six for the win, 19 unanswered. Is this Southern Lab's year?
Talented ball club.
Never say die attitude.
So I'm saying, never say die attitude. Always going to keep striving. They're going to play 4 quarters.
And when you're counting it out, when your backs are against the wall, look what Southern Lab did.
They're going to keep playing for 4 quarters no matter what. That's going to be an exciting ball game right there. It's going to be.
Don't count them out if they're down in the fourth.
Southern Lab has talented players. Don't count them out because they can make a run, and don't give them an opportunity. Don't make a mistake. Don't give them a fumble, a turnover, or something like that. Punt return. Oh man, they're just gonna look out. So exciting.
Acadiana Wrecking Rams headed back to play for a state title for the first time since 2020. We just talked about it. That senior class not playing in the Dome, it just doesn't happen.
Nope.
But they got there. They upset Holy Cross on the way. They upset Edna Carr on the road last week. Fear DeVere is back in the title game.
You're right. I was going to say it. Fear the Veer. They run that Veer to perfection, and they had some kind of tough games during the year that kind of held them back a little bit, But man, it looks like they corrected that ship, and they are hitting on all cylinders. So Fear the Veer, look out! Acadiana Wrecking Rams is coming.
They're back the Dome. Whenever no one was putting them in there, they came in as an 8 seed in the playoffs, and watch out.
Yeah, we didn't think that a lot of people didn't think that they were going to make it this far,
especially after the John Curtis loss.
Right, that was
a lot of people wrote them off.
Yeah,
LCA lost in the beginning of the year. A lot of people wrote them off, but here we are.
Right.
You play your best ball at a certain time period, and they clicked at the right time.
Yeah, you're right.
St. James. First trip back since they won the title in 2019. It was a road trip this past week on a redemption season. Go and get it done in a tough environment. If you can go win in Sterlington, pack up the city. We'll see you in New Orleans. St. James, contender, and they are going to be tough to beat.
St. James, a team on a mission. They're a team on a mission to get back in there. They want this senior class to go out on top. I think it's going to be an exciting. I think they're all going to be exciting, but this is going to be a good ball game.
Yes,
also.
Sir. And Union Parish headed back to the title game for the 4th straight year. In those title games, they've come up empty on all 3 of them. A couple of close calls, a couple of games that got out of hand. You got to think to yourself, everybody is saying, nobody gave us a shot to get here. We stuck together in the locker room. Is 4th time the charm. The defense, Gary, the defensive effort, and the big boys in the trenches trying to get their first title since 2013.
What I think about this team, Union Parish, everybody said that when Trey Holly graduated, they were going to take a hit on talent. Well, guess what? It's a team that came together, and that running back that took Trey's place. He played a little bit last year and everything like that. But let me tell you something. That young man is a beast. He is we saw him personally. And I'm going to tell you, I think that they are a force to be reckoned with. This may be the year that they take home the title.
We'll see. 4th time's a charm,
maybe. 4th time may be the charm, yeah.
Haynesville, Golden Tornado, will make its 26th state title appearance. Wow.
26
First time since 2016. They took down number 1 in dominating fashion last week to punch their ticket. A remarkable story program full of history, and trying to go make some more history on this coming week.
They may do it. You know, they have a good ball club. I knew they had a lot of appearances, but I wasn't sure it was that many. All I can say is, wow. The tradition is gonna. They're just trying to keep that tradition going. I mean, when you have 20-something plus, you have 17 titles. They're going for 18.
Yes, sir.
My God! All you can say is, look out.
Yes, sir. Opelousas High Tigers, first time in 67 years, Opelousas will play for a state title. Come on now.
Gotta go with that. You gotta
Listen,
fear.
Gary, on the 11th road game of the season, the Tigers punched their ticket to the ultimate title game. And guess what? They said it in the off season. They said it in the summer. Dome or bust.
Right.
Well, you guys are dome bound.
Y'all at the Dome, Tigers, and I'm gonna tell you right now, that team there, you better watch
Team of
it.
destiny.
They're a team of destiny on that. They're playing a familiar foe. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let me tell you something. They're on pace, or they're wanting their very first title.
12th road game.
And their 12th road game. Can you imagine a team having 12 road games in a year? That's what this team here did. And you know what?
They've answered every call.
They're road tested. They're battle tested, whatever you want to call
Gary?
it. Look out for the Tigers.
One more road trip.
That's it. One more road trip.
Ruston Bearcats, Big Ruston, state runner-ups a year ago. They've had a bad taste in their mouth mourning for an entire year. But when they say teams put in all the work, effort, time, and to get back to this point a year later, well, Gary, they have a shot to rewrite the last year's game. You
Right.
know they want that one back badly. It
Yes.
won't be against the same team, but I don't really think they care. All they care about is getting title number, what is it? Title number 9.
Right.
A year's worth of bad taste in your mouth, and here they are.
When you go to the title game and lose, or when you go get beat by somebody that you think you shouldn't have gotten beat by, it does leave a bad taste in your mouth. It does. You got all of this. I mean, I can remember back whenever I was in high school and we lost against a team we knew we should have beat. That leaves a bad taste in your mouth. You know, we had back from our first appearance in the Dome to our championship year in 2002. There was some teams in between there that should have won the state championship. You know that as well as I do. But that always leaves. But it's whenever you get a chance to go back and you get a chance to repeat and do that. They've had this game marked, this date marked on that. And like you said, they didn't care who they were going to be against.
And I heard that they're taking different steps this year.
Right.
They're driving up the day of. They're
Right.
not staying in hotel
Right.
rooms. They don't want anything that was familiar with last year's game day. So coach is taking different steps.
Yeah.
It's a business trip.
Right, and you know what? That's the way to put it. If your team wants to hoist that trophy, then they just you got to do what you got to do. I think this is going to be exciting.
Got a shot.
Got a shot. That's all I got to say.
Oak Grove.
Oh yeah.
Eyes are on the prize. They're eyeing back-to-back state titles. Oak Grove was the favorite out of anybody when we were walking out of the Superdome a year ago.
Right.
We said if anybody has a shot to repeat next year, it is Oak Grove.
Right.
When we had all the preseason talk, hype, anything you want to say, like newspaper clips, Oak Grove favorite to get back to the Dome.
Right.
And guess what? They took care of business. They did what they had to do. They have a shot to go back to back.
Most definitely. I think this is going to be, like you said, they're on a mission. They want to go back to back. They have a shot, but it's not going to be easy.
Yes, sir.
They got to keep their focus and, say like me, take care of business.
Yes, sir.
That's what they got to do.
Riverside headed back to the Dome for the first time since 2016. They battled the weather a week ago, this past Friday.
That's Friday, yeah.
They went into a tough environment, and went in and made a statement of the year caliber football game behind their football program.
Right.
Nobody was giving them a shot except everybody in that program. And now look at Riverside, got a shot for the state title next week.
Right. I mean, you look at that. What they did when they went in there, went up the road there, and they basically dominated.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a statement. That was a big statement for them to saying, "Hey, we're here," and they're not going to have an easy task, but they have every opportunity to take care of business.
When you get to this point of the season,
yeah.
I don't care what your record is. I don't care what my seed is. Let's see who's the best team in the state.
Seeding don't mean nothing in the finals. Seeding does not mean a thing in the final. The only thing that it determines is which jersey you're going to wear.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
There you go. Cecilia, the Bulldogs, Mr. Swallow.
Right here.
For the first time in 28 years, Cecilia is headed back to the state title game. This scary offense, led by Mr. Diesel Solari, how exciting it will be for us to, for the very first time, to watch the young man play football.
Right. Let me tell you something.
They heading to Porter Street with the red hot offense next week.
This game is going to be so exciting because not only are they playing a district rival, but they're also, showing what they're made out of. They have dominated. They have put everything together all year.
One loss, and it was a shootout
yeah.
loss.
You got a young man that's a running back that is, I'm going to tell you right now, and just watching the highlights made me just go, wow.
And the credit is not given enough of what the offensive line has done.
Right. This offense is explosive. That's why I'm excited about this matchup, because it's going to be an offense-defense type thing. But let me tell you something.
28 years.
This young man, Diesel, is going to be he's going to be putting forth now. Like I said, will the defense be able to stop him? That's going to be the thing. But you have offense, defense, and special teams that are going to be having to work together and come together for this team. Especially if they can slow him down, the defense and the special team has to be working on here. Because
this is
straight Cecilia. I think Cecilia's offense is going to have to flex its muscles, and they're going to have to just keep it going. But once they get it going, in order to be successful, you got to keep your foot on the gas. You can't slack off in any way, shape, or form. But Diesel is the real deal. I think
fans of high school football, we get to see him for the very first time.
Right. If you haven't seen this young man before, I've only seen highlights. I've never seen him in person. You probably had I don't know if did you ever see him? I never had the pleasure of seeing him in person, but I've heard good things about him. I watched him, on the highlight reel that on Facebook. They had some highlights of him. That young man can run.
Can't wait.
I can't wait.
Calvary Baptist.
Oh yeah.
For the second time in 4 years, Calvary will play for a state title. They will get the opportunity to spawn a three-peat opportunity. They're going to take their red-hot offense, their explosive spread offense into the dome, and watch out. They can score points for days.
Right.
Probably will be the best defense they see all year, though.
Probably so. I agree with you on that. But the key is, will they be able to go in there and just do what they normally do, flex their muscles and keep going, just keep it up there? How will the defense handle them?
Yeah, what would the game plan be to slow them down?
Yeah, to slow them, because I'll be honest with you,
not many people have slowed them down.
I was getting ready to say, you took the words out of my mouth.
Undefeated Calvary Baptist.
Nobody's really slowed them down this year. So look out.
Yes, sir. St. Thomas More Cougars heads to the title game for the fifth time in 6 years. Fifth time in the 6-year period, St. Thomas More is headed to the state title game, and they set up a high anticipated rematch. This is one of the better offenses in the entire state of Louisiana. I don't care what you say.
No.
You know they do what they do, and they do it at a high level.
Offensive juggernaut. They are just a juggernaut. They click on all cylinders. We've listened to them when we were coming back for road trips and stuff like that. We've listened to them play, and they just put their foot on the gas and keep it going.
You got to think they want to cap off their repeat in the Dome on Saturday.
Oh, most definitely. I think they want to. This is going to be an awesome team to watch. I think once they get the game gets started, everybody's going to be glued to it because you're going to have one of the most explosive offenses in the state playing right there.
Yes, sir. Zachary.
Oh, boy.
The Broncos, Coach Brew, has his team back in the title game. First trip back to the Dome since 2021 when they won the title over Ponchatoula that night, if I'm not mistaken. After a 15-point comeback on Saturday with a walk-off field goal in overtime, Broncos set up a big-time football game with the Bearcats. Boy, if you're a fan of high school football, Zachary Rustin, that's the one to see Saturday night.
You're right. Zachary.
Coach Brew knows how to get his teams
when you see
to
that
the
Z
state title.
When you see that Z on that helmet, it just makes you go, oh. It gets you excited.
Yeah, we say Big Rustin, but we also say Big Z.
Big Z. You're right.
We're gonna see some big boys on both sides of the football.
They're gonna have some young men that are going to be capable of playing on Saturdays.
Yes, sir.
Most definitely.
Catholic of Baton Rouge. Took them 2 days. Some high drama. But Catholic at home would punch their ticket back to the title game. And representing that program, you got to think Kerr Dog is ready to go hoist another trophy this coming weekend. But Gary, it won't be easy.
Oh, no, it won't.
But if there's anybody that has championship DNA, it's them.
Catholic of Baton Rouge is a championship team. And, no matter who's playing against them, they're going to go at it and do their thing. So I think this is going to be a dogfight.
Absolutely, my friend.
It's going to be a dogfight.
And we went in the order of how the tickets were punched.
Right.
And your final team that punched their ticket on Saturday was LCA.
Correct.
They're headed back to the title game. And listen up, ladies and gentlemen. They're headed back to the title game for the 7th straight season.
Correct.
Knights will eye their 5th title in 7 years. It's a big rematch. It's a Lafayette showdown. Right. And if you wanted some more drama, St. Thomas More, 5th time in 6 years. LCA, 7th straight trip.
Right.
This one is for the title, and I'm sure this is for bragging rights.
Oh,
also,
most definitely.
You want to go to LCA or you want to go to St. Thomas More? All right, let's see who wins the state title.
Yeah, whatever. This is, LCA, you're looking at, they had 4 state championships in a row, if I'm not mistaken. Then they had 2 runners-ups back to back. Then guess what? Now they want to get back on top. They want to get back to that.
And we talked about seeing Diesel for the first time.
Yeah.
But we will see Juwan Johnson for the final time.
Yes. So I know they're going to have a lot going on, but this game is going to be
both of these quarterbacks. Final game of their storied career.
Right.
Ends in the Superdome, and rightfully so.
You can't ask
you have to let these guys end it.
Right. You can't ask for a better script than this. You have 2 of the best teams in the state, and they're not far from each other. One's on one end of Lafayette, one's on the other end of Lafayette.
Miles, right?
5 to 7 miles. I don't remember exactly the number. But, boy, can you imagine the fireworks that's going to be going on in that game? Their offenses are just going to go hog wild, I believe, man.
And that's why we go and we pay our money and we sit down and enjoy 8 games and make it a weekend getaway.
That's what it's all about. You can honestly say we don't have a dog in the fight.
No, not really. You take a look at it. Pillsbury's not playing for a state title.
I know.
So we go over there as fans, don't we?
Yes, we do. There's not a game that we talked about that I think is going to be, a bad game. They're all looking good. They're all looking very competitive. So I can't wait to sit down in the Dome and watch some good competition.
So we talked about all 16 teams that have punched their ticket to the state title game. We recapped the semifinals. We talked about our locals. We talked about areas around the state that are well represented. We talked a little bit of everything tonight. We want to say good luck to the remaining teams, that final 16 that are still standing. The road to the Dome for you 16 has come true, and you checked off that box. But there's one more box to check off. You want to be a state champion. There will be 8 of them.
Right.
And we will start the crowning at Thursday, and we will end the crowning on Saturday. And sadly, the season will come to an end, my friend. And we'll have to get ready for the next Road to the Dome in 2024. But let's enjoy this week. One last week. It was a great recap show. Wednesday night, we have a big show. We're going to pick all 8 state championship games. Thursday, if you want to come check me and Gary out. We'll be in the Dome Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You can catch us in the end zone.
Yeah.
We're going to do recaps after each game, give our thoughts, let you know what we saw, what kind of drama we just witnessed.
Right.
It's going to be
it's going to be fun.
It's going to be some fun times. There was a question in the chat. He said, you both can only choose one game and that's it. What game you're really looking forward to the most? I'll let you start.
Oh, man.
I'll start first. I'll start first. Because we saw it last year.
Yeah.
And we're so excited for part 2. But because this is the first time in 50-something and 28 years, that's the one I'm most excited for. Cecilia HS.
I was going to say that myself.
And Gary, Opelousas' school is 3 minutes down the school.
It's right down the street right here.
Cecilia, 20 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
So how close they are to where we do our shows every week?
The issue is there's going to be some great games. I mean, we can talk about the Acadiana game. I think you know how I am about Acadiana, but this has got a lot of special things for us.
And we'll do our rankings on Wednesday. We'll let the panels decide what's the better games, what's the ones they're not looking forward to the most, which games have we did it last year, so we'll let the panel decide.
And the good thing is that we're not covering the game, so we can all pick. We don't have to not pick one.
Yeah, and please be kind.
Yeah, it's just a fun pick show, guys. Don't get crazy.
Anybody has any last second questions before we get on out of here? I know they were worried about the St. James helmet. And
it's coming.
It'll probably come in the mail tomorrow. Thank you to all Devin and everybody that got
we had a couple more that's supposed to be
coming
too.
Our name out there to a couple schools.
Yeah.
Edie White reached out
and then
said they're going to mail a helmet.
Rustin
reached out, said they're going to mail a helmet. Who am I thinking? We talked to our Ouachita Parish at the Gina game.
Yes,
First time we met Coach over there. Very nice guy.
Yes.
Said he would send us a helmet after the game, and he said could possibly cover a game next year.
Yes. Oh yeah, we got a lot of good possibilities.
We just picked up Union Parish over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Could not pick up Gina, so sad to see there, but it was not the best timing.
Yeah. They promised us one, but we're going to get one, I'm sure.
What else? Who else is in the playoffs that we could probably try to get here?
I'm working on Acadiana.
Southern Lab, Riverside, we have no ties there. We got Oak Grove on the helmet.
Yeah.
Haynesville Golden Tornado would love to represent y'all if anybody would want to send us a helmet in the off season.
Yeah.
Cecilia Opelousas, we have it.
Yeah.
St. James is on the way. Union Parish is here. Catholic of BR and Acadiana will probably never look out and get those two.
Exactly.
St. Thomas More LCA, got them here. St. Charles and Calvary Baptist, 0 ties there. Mm-hmm. Ruston, they said over the off season, and Zachary, no ties there. Yeah. So there we go. Looks like we have no questions, Mr. Swallow. Let's get on out of here, my friend. Get ready to enjoy the rest of the evening. and get on to Wednesday in the pick show.
Yes, sir. I'm excited. I'm excited about that. I think we're, we had a great year, Jordy, and we're going to talk more about that on Wednesday. But, man,
and then it does not end.
No.
It does not end because after the games are over Saturday, we're going to come back on the following week, and we're going to do one final show.
Yeah.
Yourself and I will sit down,
Yeah.
and we will recap the entire season, and we'll give our top 10 plays of the season, our top 5 games of the year. We'll do our top stadiums that we went to. We'll do all that the week after the Dome, so you don't want to miss that show.
Braden, if you can do that, that would be awesome.
Yes, sir. So, Gary, closes out. Congratulations to the semifinal winners for punching your tickets. 16 teams will hit the carpet next week. Can't wait to get there. Closes out, my friend.
Guys, congratulations on making it to the finals. Play your hearts out. Don't leave anything, left behind. Put it all on the field. Do your best. Support your teammates. Show good sportsmanship.
And safe travels.
Safe travels there. Safe travels home. But here it is. All you seniors, remember,
the moment.
And like you say, enjoy the moment. Don't ever take anything for granted because not everybody plays on Saturdays. So this may be your final game in a football uniform with, strapping on the shoulder pads and putting on the helmet.
For a ring.
Go for it. You playing for that ring. How they do that? Just do that. You got to keep working for it, and good luck to everybody. God bless you all.
Yes, indeed, my friend. We are now in the final countdown of Road to the Dome. It is under a week.
Right.
We will be there before you know it. Good luck to all 16 teams. We got new blood there. We got familiar faces. It should be a wild 3 days full of drama, excitement, fireworks, and a lot of money spent from your pocket and my pocket, my friend. But
you're right.
We love it. We can't wait to be there. It is size up season. Somebody's gonna get sized up afterwards, and if you happen to be on the losing end of it, just remember, enjoy the moment. There's got to be a winner. There's got to be a loser. And we respect every coach that has got their team to this point, and we wish them the best of luck this upcoming week. And maybe we'll get a couple phone calls on Wednesday to talk to some of the coaches from around the state, hear how their preparation is going for the Dome. Would be nice to talk a little football with some of these coaches that will play for a state title. But as of now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll sign off. And we'll see you Wednesday night for the Pick'em show. Big panel expected. We'll see who they pick for their state title games. My name is Jordan Taylor. This is Gary Swallow. This has been a Sunday edition of the recap show of Under the Lights. Dome, sweet Dome. We'll see you Wednesday night. Then we'll see you in New Orleans. Come say hello to the gang. We'll be in the Dome.
Yeah, you'll be able to see our shirts.
Come say hello to us. Come spend some time. We'll talk a little football, and we'll enjoy some high school football state championships. God bless high school football. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless my friend Gary Swallow. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.